Hey there, welcome back. Time for more Tales from the Swamp. Today we're going to be reading a book called Deathbrand, a pirate's tale. Haknir Deathbrand was dying. For Garuk Windrime, ship's quartermaster, it was unthinkable. His grandfather had served under Haknir, nigh on 60 years before, and even then he was a legend among the pirates of the north. The King of Ghosts, they called him. Yeah, that's right, Pastel. He's a pirate. As eternal and pitiless as a sea he sailed. To Garuk, who had seen him charge into battle, clad in armor of gleaming Stalrim like the kings of old, his twin swords scything men like grass, Haknir was practically a god. But none feared Haknir more than his own crew. They knew his rages, his fits of madness, how he delighted in torture and murder for its own sake. And there were even darker rumors. Some said he fed upon the blood and souls of those he killed to extend his... Sorry, Pastel just headbutted the blinds. To extend his unnatural life. Some thought him a Daedra, loosed upon the mortal world, and others said he owed his life and power, his armor and swords, to a pact with Dagon, Prince of Destruction. Mehrunes Dagon. And the seal of that pact was the terrible wound that scarred his face, never to heal, the Deathbrand, which no man could look upon without flinching. All these things ran through Garuk's mind as he took his place on deck at the head of the crew, exchanging a curt nod with Thalin, the ship's helmsman and his chief rival. By sundown, he thought, one of them would be captain, the other would be dead. When Haknir finally emerged from his cabin, the crew fell silent. He looked frail, his voice raspy, but even so, he had a presence about him. As he looked over his men, the most brutal murderers ever to ply the northern seas, not one could meet his gaze. At last, he sighed. You wish to know who will be my successor, and how my share of the treasure shall be divided. That was the question, but even so, there were murmurs of protest. Haknir cut them off. All these years, I've looked for one who was worthy to take my place, or strong enough to take it from me. Not one of you even comes close, and so none of you shall have it. He extended his hand. In Dagon's name, I place a curse upon my armor and my swords, this ship and all it carries. Until the day when one of you can best me in combat, you shall not have a single coin. He looked up at them. Be grateful I've left you with your lives. That's right, Pastel. Isn't it spooky? Garuk and Thalin shared a single glance. Had anyone else said such a thing, there would have been a mutiny. 100 treasure-mad pirates against one old man. But this was Haknir. The crew was silent. Haknir threw a map at Garuk's feet. Garuk, take a longboat and bury my armor in the places I have marked. Thalin, we sail to my tomb, where you shall leave me with my gold. Then burn your ships and do as you will. I'm your captain no more. And with that, he turned and stalked back to his quarters. At daybreak, Garuk took his leave and set out in a longboat with 3 of his men. They landed on a shoal to the north of Solstheim, at the place Haknir had marked, made camp, and began to dig. But already, greed stirred in Garuk's heart. Time and again he glanced at the iron-bound chest they had brought with them. The old man was gone, perhaps already dead. His orders, foolish. That night, Garuk pried open the chest and drew out the helm within. The Stalrim shimmered in the moonlight. It was time. Time for a new king of ghosts to rise. He placed the helmet on his head, and he screamed. It is said you can hear that screaming still, on moonlit nights, on a rocky shoal off the northern coast of Solstheim. Postscript. This story is one of the last in the Haknir saga, the tales surrounding the life and adventures of the legendary pirate king, Haknir Deathbrand. How much of it is actually true, if indeed any of it is true, I leave to the reader's discretion. Artiste Drellin, House Reader and Scribe. Pastel! It's a story about pirates. Yeah. So, in the Dragonborn DLC, you find that book on Solstheim. And if you go around the places, like the northern coast where Garuk brought the armor, you can find Dunmer digging in the ground trying to find the treasure. And if you are at least level 36 at the time, you can start a quest to find Haknir's treasure and eventually get the chance to challenge him in combat yourself. Could you take his gold? Could you get all his treasure and become the king of ghosts? Gasp. Dun dun dun. Right now, Shrek is level 34, so he has to level up 2 more times before he can do that. But I'm hoping to do that before Shrek and Skyrim 2 is finished. So, I'm excited. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a very comfy night. Bye!